Monday is here again. I'm excited about Monday. I don't know about you. Hope you had a lovely weekend like I did. I am Tokpe Mark Odige and I have my co-host here with me. I'm going to make Priscilla the special person today because you're really special. You're joining us as a co-host.
Yeah.
Priscilla, good morning.
Good morning, Tokpe.
How was your weekend? You didn't join us for our party.
You didn't know. No, it was kind of impromptu and I was not even available.
Oh. Should I let you shine?
Allow her. Let her shine.
Thank you, YK, and thank you, Uncle Partner.
Uncle Theo, don't mind
Uncle
her.
Partner, thank you so much. You know what? Yesterday, Saturday night, I felt really, really special. I didn't even know that YK was going to go all.
I didn't either.
I would have invited you now. You know me.
I know you.
Oh, I told you, you deserve it. You deserve it.
I should have invited Bobo to the party.
Let me tell you, the way she accused us.
Oh my goodness.
If YK did not plan that kind of party, we no go here. The way she's smiling now, we're happy, we're okay. We are forgiving.
So you didn't say what happened. You didn't say what happened.
People refused to celebrate my 10-year anniversary.
And
So
it was 10
YK
years.
now decided to host me and my husband, and it was amazing. She
At
went
the
all
Freedom
out.
Park.
She brought cake. She brought Chinese. I said, "Choy." So now, you cannot put me in a room and put music and I will not dance.
No, that dancing was
Jesus
oh
Christ.
wow.
I felt like somebody.
It was nothing they gave our project that if you dance you get this contract.
I'm telling
you can't be dancing.
You know, anybody that knows me knows that I love dancing.
Absolutely.
And Tokwe, I dance to the point that today,
You
my
can't
body,
leg.
everywhere is aching me. God will help me.
Amen.
And congratulations to YK. Do you know that I was so weak yesterday? I couldn't even get up. Thank you. Congratulations for your award that you got yesterday.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry, but your champagne is cooling, chilling in the fridge.
The ice
When you
cream.
come,
Fantastic.
I will give it to you. I'm done.
Yes, YK got the award. It's called
yeah.
Special Recognition for her contribution to the entertainment industry yesterday by the City People Entertainment Awards 2016. We're proud of her. YK, you will have to forgive us.
Nobody showed up.
I'm telling you.
After the party on Saturday,
Nobody
it was hard
could
to
move.
get out of bed yesterday. But we thank God, you know, and we're very proud of you. Anyone who knows YK knows that she does what she does with passion. She puts her heart into everything. So God bless you. We're proud of
she's loving
you.
and she's forgiving.
She has forgiven us already.
She has forgiven us already.
So on that forgiving note, because really, I had so much fun on Saturday night. I really couldn't even make it to church. I watched church online. It was that bad, but I had fun. It was really.
Tokpe was wearing micro. People's husbands were there. She was wearing micro mini. I said I was.
Now you're referring to Saturday.
Saturday, yeah, I wore bum
Right.
shirt. I didn't wear it. And I wore a long. I was decent. Yeah, but I was hanging out with my husband, and I'm allowed to look sexy for my husband.
Absolutely.
Please.
You needed to assist Tokwe's husband.
Today is Monday. We're very, very serious. A lot of good things are happening. So we need to move on.
Tokwe's husband.
And we're going to go into the papers when we come back from this short break. Please stay with us. We'll be right back. Welcome back. It's time for front page review and we'll be starting off with the Punch. Major headline, certificate forgery. 9 Ekiti Assembly members to face trial. Federal government to reopen Omojola, Fasuba, Daramola's murder cases. And in other news, another big headline, IBB ousted me to stop Gusau's sacking for corruption. That's from Buhari. Akarigbo of Remoland, Shonariwo dies in UK at 90. Oh, sorry, I murdered that name. Police arrest pastor who stabbed chained son for deliverance. I almost died as Super Eagles coach, says Olise. Adeosun meets World Bank Wednesday on borrowing plans. And you can miss the picture of FIFA president, Mr. Gianni Infantino. I'm sure I've spelled that name too. With President Nigerian Football Generation, Mr. Amanju Pinnick, during Infantino's visit to Abuja. Now, the
There are so many human angle stories.
But I know you want to talk about Olise.
Yeah, I want to talk about Olise because the other child is the major headline in Sun, so we'll pick it up from there. You have that story now.
Yes. Olise was saying that he almost died as Super Eagles coach. Yes, it's no news that the coaches have said again and again that they are not well paid and they are not treated well and all of that. But he had a different story altogether. He said that he had lightheadedness just one night like that. He had lightheadedness. He was fainting.
In short, witches were after him.
Before you knew it, he said he was, bedridden for a couple of weeks. His blood pressure went down, and guess what? They went to the hospital and they found nothing wrong. All of his test results came out really well.
Let me read an excerpt from Punch. He said, from then on, he said after there was a time they were playing a game, and he was just feeling dizzy and all that. So he managed to finish the game and called the doctor to the locker room, and when he searched, there was nothing. But he said after that game, from then on, it was sleepless nights, loss of appetite, high blood pressure. Before I knew it, I started losing weight. He said after several visits to the doctors abroad, nothing was found. He said for weeks, I was bedridden, lost 7 kilos, would barely walk 5 meters without sitting down. My family was petrified and all feared the worst. One thing was for sure, though. Had I not taken the evening flight to Germany when I did, there was strong possibility that the fireworks outcome would have come out about. So he's seriously alleging that some witches and wizards are after that position.
When we have white coaches, like foreign coaches, how come they don't experience this and our local coaches?
Let me tell you why.
They believe in the fetish.
Yeah, let me tell you why. There's a major role that the mind plays. Africans were huge and we are strong in this belief. They don't have that,
But guess what? If you have such a belief, then you don't take any job without going in spiritually.
Yes.
But Jumoke, don't forget that what is spiritual is relative.
Oh, well, that's true.
It's absolutely relative.
Moving on to the Nation. This is not spiritual. Reps step up dirty fight over budget 2016 scandal. Members revolts, forced Jibrin sack. Lawmakers indict House leadership. Banks fail to meet CBN's forex terms. Lagos State targets 50 billion naira IGR. And 1 trillion naira budget by 2018. Police arrest pastor who changed son for weeks. It's illegal to pay ex-governors as senators, says Falano. And Fayose, I have 382 million in frozen bank accounts. Well, we'll go with the major headline. The reps fighting dirty over budget scandal. Against Dogara.
You see, Monday, you can just not avoid politics. Now, Jibrin had alleged that Speaker Dogara, in their 100 billion budget to the House of Reps, allocated to himself 40 billion.
That can be proved, right?
Absolutely.
So you see all of these allegations. Dogara has come to defend himself that he's going to keep quiet. He's not going to say anything. He's going to allow the House to handle Jibrin's matter. Jibrin is stating that Dogara is making it seem like his allegations against him are allegations against the House of Reps, that they're not. That the allegations are against 4 of them. The Speaker, the Deputy Speaker, the Chief Whip, and some others.
That's Dogara, Lasun, Ogo, and Doguwa.
Yeah, that is against 4 of them, not the entire House. And that they wanted to pad the budget with spurious projects. In tunes of hundreds of billions.
And we're not expecting, and they were not expecting that it will be discovered.
Yes,
because
that the speaker would call them out to specific locations. These meetings were not
and
held.
He has proof. He said he has proofs. He has papers. He has proof. My worry, Jumoke, because this is not the first time we've heard scandal in House of Assembly. We've had a case where we saw a video of somebody putting money in his cap. And we didn't hear anything again. I don't want that to be this. I really want this mustn't happen. We don't want a case where this would now be swept under the carpet and we will not hear anything. You know, they've also subtly swept under the carpet the sex scandal.
Yes,
this wasn't good that way.
No, but the sex scandal, they don't have evidence anymore.
Well, we need to move on to the Vanguard. Why IBB Gusau overthrew me in 1985. Says he wanted to punish Gusau for alleged 100 million import license scam. Challenges duo to tell Nigerians why they moved against him. In other news, we have anxiety in Shagamu over monarch's death. Buhari pushing Indigbo hard to leave Nigeria. That's from Ezeife. NDDC list Abia Ondo stakeholders. NDDC list Abia Ondo stakeholders kick. Rejects nominees. We get Forex 3 months after bidding. Says Manufacturers Association of Nigeria.
Can I quickly?
Investors overreaction to Forex policy costs them 748. So we are waiting to the IBB
President is talking.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
And he's saying that in 1985, he believes that the reason IBB and Gusau actually planned that coup to oust him from the seat was because he had set up, he wrote to the military that there were some misappropriations and he wanted them, you know, checked and probed.
Right.
So he believed that part of the reason, you know, that coup was successful was because they were trying to hide something. That if, let me add my own, they are man enough, they should come out and say exactly why that thing happened. So he's challenging them to come out to say. But my problem is this thing is, you know,
it's over 30 years ago.
Over 31 years.
More important
you know,
things.
Does it mean that tomorrow there will be something against?
Maybe somebody asked him. Maybe somebody asked him a question that brought up that discussion.
Excuse me. IBB was part of the coup that brought Buhari into power. Did he ask IBB why he removed the president before him? He stepped in as president at the time because it was convenient. When they now removed him, IBB's excuse was that he wasn't feeling the pulse of the people, that his governance was too hard. That's why he removed him. IBB said that 2 weeks ago. Please, these people should go and stay somewhere. Nigerians are not smiling.
Manufacturers
Association of Nigeria, they are unable to access Forex. You say you are deregulated, and so we're supposed to be able to access Forex anywhere. People are supposed to bring in their funds, but the FDI, foreign direct investors, are not bringing their money because they say this is a dishonest deregulation. To the extent we are now bidding for Forex with the CBN. When we have agreed on, okay, give it to me at 388 naira, it will still take 3 months for me to access the money. Why? CBN doesn't have it. So how do you want us to manufacture? How do you want our products to be competitive
and then
with
international? You're banning certain imports.
Abi, moving on to our last.
Well, before you go, I would actually want to talk about the story of, you know,
we can't take that right now. Let's just take Daily Sun. Maybe we can talk about it if we have time after this. Daily Sun, outrage over boys' torture in church. Pastor arrested for chaining son as Nigerians react. Will declare Niger Delta Republic by August 1st. That's just a week away from militants. Akarigbo of Remo Land dies in London after surgery. Ibori, British police admits infraction, loaded damages. Buhari says, IBB toppled me to escape probe. My report indicted Gusau. He also reveals how Dogara Lasso padded budget with 284 billion from Jibrin. Jonathan, Father Mbaka breaks silence. My prediction on ex-governor's fall inspired by God, says Catholic priest. This story of the boys' torture in church was all over social media over the weekend.
Let's call their names.
It wasn't supposed to be a hot topic today, but
maybe we'll make it hot topic tomorrow if you don't have enough time to trash it. Mr. Francis Taiwo, a Celestian pastor from the parish of Joy in Ogun State, found his boy. I will remember his name. Please tell me his name.
Okay, I'll get that name for you.
That a 9-year-old boy. He stole Korede, fantastic. Stole a pot of soup and a bar because he was hungry. And so they said he had been stealing things from the neighborhood. So his father, with the help of the stepmother, Korede's mom is dead, chained him, and then they would feed him twice a day. If you see his picture, he's 9 years old. He looks like he's 5 years old. Now, the people in the neighborhood, and which is where community policing, you know, comes to play, they gave a tip-off to the police. So the NDSDC and the police went to rescue him. Now they've arrested his father. Korede says he wants to be a doctor. He doesn't want to go back to his father's house. Yes, he stole, but that the reason he stole was that his father wasn't providing money for his stepmother to feed him well.
Can you not even hear what he's stealing? I'm telling you.
Food.
Stealing eba and soup.
That just shows that it's the primary need. It's the most primary need.
Aside the fact that even the Celestial Church of Christ, they are trying to distance themselves from this story. They're saying that church is not duly registered, and they don't even know who that man is.
Francis Taiwo.
Yes, they don't even know who Francis Taiwo is, and is not. It's funny that he believes that it's what Yoruba would call emiole, the spirit of stealing. That so it's a demon that has, you know, come into him.
Demon is hunger.
And
what kind of demon is that?
Hunger is a demon.
You know.
And that can easily be solved without deliverance. However, we didn't want to make it a hot topic because we know that religious sentiments, we want to bring in someone from that church, bring in other spiritual leaders on how to do deliverance. Even if you want to do deliverance, let's not even say that there's a demon in that person causing him to steal. Is it by locking him up that you would
sign him like an animal? Did you see the padlock?
Do you know that they had to use seesaw
to cut the chain?
The chain.
And it looks like it's beyond the month, because the level of emaciation, that boy, it looks horrible. And we need a lot needs to be done about this. Honestly, we need to move on though. The last paper for today, militants readies major offensive against Niger Delta, military readies major offensive against Niger Delta militants if talks fail. MEND confirms dialogue with federal government. Group says it's pushing for release of Orca brothers. Federal government unlikely to renew Manitoba's management contract with TCN. CBN targets rates convergence with directives to sell remittance to Bureau de Change. Hope for Ibori as his lawyer wins in court. We can't take that story. We need to go. But, well, if you want to know more about the stories we just read out, just search for this. In 2
sentences, the military, they are getting ready. If there are talks with the militants in the Niger Delta field, they are going in with serious offensive. That's all.
Well, on that note, we end front page review for today. When we return, an ex-inmate shares his experience in prison and how he has turned his life around on hot topics, and later we discuss the need for prison reforms in Nigeria. We will be right back. Please stay with us. Welcome back. Prisons all over the world are meant to be correctional centers. According to 2010 study of recidivism in Nigerian prisons conducted by Dr. Chinedu Abrifo, there has been a persistent rise in the prevalence of ex-convicts going back to crime in recent years. In other words, out of 1,000 individuals convicted in Nigeria, 680 will likely be back in prison. Joining us is an ex-inmate, Mr. Charles Ejewa Paul. He will share his experience and how he has turned his life around. Welcome to the show. Good morning.
You're welcome.
So, before the show, I asked the question that you're from Benue State and that you're even from the same community as our former Senate President. However, how did you land in prison?
For sure. I was living my life and I got involved in a crime. But before then, my parents, we are taking care of me, they fed me, they put me in school, and I was schooling. But something came over me, and it really came over me due to impatience. It was impatience that drove me into what I went into that landed me in prison.
So now you're out of prison and your life has been reformed. Can you, because our viewers don't know what you're doing now and how it took place, can you just talk us through what happened, how you met with the team, and how they were able to reform you, and how being out now, what you're doing.
When I was in prison, you know, in the first place, after the crime, I was taken to a prison in Makurdi. And after that, I was transferred to another prison in Otupo. I was there, and that was when I got to know Bashiru, the initiator of Dream Again Foundation. You know, in prison, then he was coming from time to time, and until now, he goes to prison from time to time to have a talk with the inmates. You know, he's doing good. He's doing a great job in the prisons. Now he has even extended.
I wanted to know how you were touched by his ministry, by his
initiative. For sure. You know, owing to what he was coming to do in the prison, then my life got affected positively. You know, the mentality I was having before was that life is all about me, and I need to make it. But when he came in, the mentality I was having in the first place changed. I began to see life from a different angle. I began to think about life, and it occurred to me that life indeed is not all about me, and it is all about us, because if I succeed, if I make it to the detriment of others, that wouldn't be good.
Okay, now tell me, after how long have you been working with this team?
It has, you know, he came, I think he started, I cannot really recall how long I've started.
No, outside the walls of the prison. Like, how long have you been out of prison?
Over 2 years now.
Over 2 years now. So what is it that you've done, you know, that you're saying, okay, this is how I'm now affecting the society in general. This is what I'm giving back positively to the society. What do you do? What's your daily routine like?
For sure, when I came out of prison, I went into farming.
Okay.
And I was farming from the beginning, and until now, I am into farming. And when I came out of prison, I also used to go to the prison with the team, even to have a talk with we call them students, because we are not looking at prisons, you know, as institutions of punishment.
Fantastic.
But rather we are looking at, you know, prisons as universities of change.
So are you making a living from farming right now?
Very well.
Are you employing people?
Not yet, not yet. Even currently, I am, you know, under training, you know, through the courtesy of the Dream Again Foundation.
So Paul, while you were in prison, did you go through any skill acquisition programs?
You know, as ATMs, you know, in the prisons, we have ATMs and we have CMs.
Okay.
The ATMs are those waiting for trials, but the CMs are those that have already been convicted.
Yeah.
So they allow the convicts, the CMs, to go out and work. And they also have, you know, workshops there in the prisons where the convicts go and, you know, do their things. You know, they acquire skills there indeed.
So did you acquire any skill? I mean, you were in prison for 6 years.
Very well. Like I said already, the ATMs are not allowed to go out and...
Okay, so you were awaiting trial.
Oh, that's so sad. For 6 years.
You were there for 6 years. My question, though,
we can't take that question right now, though, because we need to go on a commercial break. Please stay with us. We'll be right back. Welcome back. Prisons all over the world are set up by law to provide restraint and custody of individuals accused or convicted for crimes by the state. In Nigeria, the prison system lays emphasis on punishment and deterrence, and it's like it is said that the fear of prison is the beginning of change. But how do you change the mindset of a criminal? Joining us on the show is a prison reformer and the convener of Dream Again Prison Foundation, Mr. Bashir Adamu. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be here.
I met you a few months ago, or a few weeks ago, actually.
Yeah, 2 weeks
and
now.
yes, and you told me about your prison reform. I'm really impressed. I want you to, I don't want, before I get to you though, because it was, Priscilla was about to ask a question from Mr. Charles Paul, and I would like Priscilla to go ahead with that question first.
Mr. Paul, I was about asking, you were incarcerated for 6 years and you were still awaiting trial. Now, we've seen that the people awaiting trial, the population of the people awaiting trial are more than the actual convicts. So how has this relationship, I mean, you were with people who were really convicted for 6 years. How did that affect you as a person? Did it correct you in any way, or probably it introduced you to exactly, did it change your personality and all of that?
Of course, you know, being in prison is not easy, and there are a lot to learn in the prison. You know, number one, if you are in prison, you would know that the judicial system of this country is nothing to write home about. And number two, if you are in prison, the presence of both the ATMs and the CMs would tell you that crime is not worth it. Because lives are wasted there, destinies are being destroyed. And so, being there is a lot of lesson. It's a lot of lesson.
So would you say that it makes, is it possible that people who are waiting trial and all of that gets more angry with the country going into that place, you know, rather than being convinced to want to, you know, change?
Of course. You know, in the prison, people come and go. And in the cells, you know, there are times that we call it locking of the cell. When they lock the cell, you are not allowed to make any noise. And then hardened criminals who are jail beds, who have been going and coming, you know, to the prison, they go out and come in just like that. That is the time they tell their stories. And people in the cells learn from them and get hardened the more.
Oh gosh. So I want to ask about the welfare, because we hear stories. Last year there was a story of the food, of owing people, people that were supposed to cook and provide
owing
caterers a lot of money, that the prison is overpopulated. How is the welfare of this particular prison that you were in? And then I'll now ask from Mr. Bashir how it's been when you visit. But first, I want to take your reply, Mr. Charles.
The prison, like the prison at Makurdi, you know, one thing this nation has to do is to educate even the prison officers.
They are also prisoners.
Prison officers.
Yes, now they call them prisoners.
They need reorientation. You know, there are things that happen in the prisons that if I begin to talk about such things now, you know, I will get indicted. And so I just want to keep...
So you can't even talk?
I just want to keep such things to myself.
No, please, somebody has to mention this, but I'll take a call from Adeleke. Adeleke, welcome to the show.
Good morning, ladies.
Good morning.
Yeah, how are you doing today?
Fine, thank you.
All
Please
right,
contribute.
I want to congratulate that man for his life. And I want him to understand that this is just the beginning. That you shouldn't lose hope. You know, I want you to see yourself as one of us. what happened to you happened to late M.K. Abiola. He was in prison. It happens to Fela Nicola Puputi. We celebrate him every day. And it happens to Mandela, Nelson Mandela in South Africa. We, the whole world celebrated him before he died, and we're still celebrating him. But what I'm about to say now is that concerning the prison issue in Nigeria, because something happened in my church yesterday when the pastor made an altar call that the young ladies, the single ladies, will come outside. I looked at the numbers of ladies rushing outside as if something else was happening. But our government never knew that somebody else's husband is right there in the prison, languishing in the prison every day. And we are complaining here in Nigeria that this, our young ladies are yet to, to get married and all that.
Thank you so
and
much,
someone, a lady's else's husband is right there in the prison, languishing. So I want our government to
trial.
Thank you, Adeleke. Bashir, I want your opinion on this because he's worried about, he's been there, so he can't talk about it. But when you visit, what is the experience concerning the welfare? How are they being fed well, like 3 square meals? Because a lot of money is going into that. Are they, the number of people per cell, is it being complied with, or you have more people in the cell? Sanitary conditions. Please just tell us about the welfare, what you're seeing, because people that are people watch this show that can make a change if they know what is going on there. You know, when they go for inspections, everything is cleared for the inspection, but you go there regularly. Can you tell us what is going on there?
One of the things I do as a person is that I help inmates in prison to escape from imprisonment. And people used to ask me, how do you do this? And I said, I help them to escape from what I call mind imprisonment. Because that's the worst prison anybody can ever be. There are people who walk around the streets, but they're still locked up in their mind. And that's what happened to me. I've never been to a physical prison, but I was locked up. Never believing myself, no aim, no vision, no dream. But in 2001, when I embraced the world of book, especially when I embraced my Savior, my life changed entirely. And so if this same person, I didn't have a girlfriend, I'm married now, I didn't have a girlfriend because I couldn't talk. But because of books became boosters of my destiny. I was like, okay, when I have never been to Benue, I went to Benue as a core member. As a matter of fact, when I was told that I was going to Benue, I lamented. I wanted to go to Abuja for opportunity. And so it's critical when we're talking about change. Do people really want change? Or they're just talking about change?
Right.
Because if we really want change, we are like a seed, and every seed must be planted in the right environment. Benue was my environment. I stayed in Benue, I served. I did a project in prison that got me to meet with Charles. As part of my community project was that I established the first library in the prison. Yeah, because I got liberated by books, and so now extend that. Give back. Actually, it's a vision I had to establish that in Kaduna. I'm from Edo. I was born in Kaduna. So when I got saved, I wanted to establish a library in Kaduna so that people can have access to information. But that was not possible until when I went for service. Now, what I'm trying to say is that the entire scenario in prison is that is a collective responsibility from the judiciary, from the Nigerian prison service, from us who go into the prison. Now, beyond establishing a library, from a poor family, immediately after my service, I got a scholarship, sponsored not by the government, sponsored by friends and in the institution. An institute I went to in India, Kantari, to study social entrepreneur. When I came back, that's when I established my organization, Dream Again Prison and Youth Foundation. And our vision is actually to transform prisons in Nigeria from punitive to what we call effective.
Corrective.
Yes, from punitive to effective correctional facility. That is what it ought to be.
That's what
when we are talking about rehabilitation, it's actually a process of treatment. We are like doctors. So, and these people have been in crime. Some of them, their minds are no more the same. So how do we treat them?
Yes, but really.
So we have to be careful, really, and that is why we're talking about the rate of reoffending crime is high. So when they go in, because there is no proper reformation,
they come back and they go back to
and because the society is not.
We have a call though. Good morning to the show. This is a very serious topic. Sorry we kept you waiting for long.
No problem. Good morning, thank you, and then I greet everybody in the studio also. But sorry, before I go to the man, I'm sorry to give this word, the ex-convict man. I really want to appreciate Jumoke. Yes, I really appreciate everything you do. I like it so much.
Thank you,
Amaba. What you know to do. So, sorry, to our man there, I appreciate your courage very well. Because you know in Nigeria, once Nigerians see anybody who is ex-convict, forget it. They see the person like, illegal is small to see me and all those things. But for you to have come out, and then you came out, you became what you are today. All glory to God. I had many people who were in prison and they came out, they became what they were before, and then they are all dead now. I can't just start mentioning, yes, they were thieves in Maryland and all those things, and then police got them again and they killed them. But for you to have even been here and then you are what, in fact, you're dressing, if you don't tell you are an ex, nobody will know. But thank God, and I appreciate that. God bless.
We appreciate you, Charles. We appreciate your mobile. I want to ask a question based on the stigma. You know, I know that I'll come back to you, Bashir, though, but sorry. This show. We need to go on a break. We need to go on a break. Please stay with us. We'll be right back. Welcome back. Joining us to shed more light on this, is particularly stigma, is Mrs. Ene Princewell. Welcome to the show. You're the ambassador for Dream Again. Yeah. Now, I was about to ask Bashir the question about stigma that people face when the quote, ex-convict. Even if you were never convicted, you just went in the prison as an awaiting trial. How do people deal with the stigma? How can the prisoner deal with the stigma, and how should we deal with the strict stigma?
Thank you so much. It's good to be on your show. As an ambassador, most times when we visit the prisons, what we discover is there's always an issue for self-stigmatization and the community. So most of the time, the big problem is the one for the community, because there's always the tendency that they feel, oh, we've been forgotten, and then the judgment has been passed on us. When we go back to society, people want to stay away from us. They don't want to do business with them anymore. The issue of trust is not there, and most of them miss out on education. So basically, it's so huge because that is one of the things we try to guide them through, because we have to take them through a rethink process to boost their self-esteem again, and then help them re-enter back into society, more like help them to integrate with the society again.
How are you going to help the society to change our own mindset and stigmatization of former inmates? I mean, someone who was awaiting trial for 6 years, all you know of him was that, he was in prison for 6 years. Once he comes out, you are going to keep your distance. How are you affecting the society from stigmatizing them?
Yeah, so what we do, one of the things that we have a radio show where we do sensitization. Okay. But again, we all know that we all need second chance, and we have to give people that opportunity. Just because I've been to prison does not mean that my life has been written off. Of course, we have people like Mahatma Gandhi, who has been in prison, people like Nelson Mandela. In Nigeria, we have people like Obasanjo. Some people went into prison, they became worse. Others went to prison, they became better. That's why we talk about dream again, the opportunity to start afresh. So as a society, we must trust and give them opportunity to start afresh.
So these individuals, I'm sorry, Jumoke, these individuals who, I mean, we've heard that they take turns in, sleeping on the mattress, because most of the time they sleep on the bare floor. We know of the congestion. We know of the fact that people who are waiting trial oftentimes have strict bail conditions. Yeah. So it's not even that their cases have not been decided, but they cannot afford. We can't afford to, they can't make the bill. Yeah. So in talking about self-esteem, how do you help these people realize that they are even more than who they are supposed to be in terms of human dignity when they are sleeping on the bare floor?
Okay, yeah, it's you see, there's a process for everything. I find myself in prison. What do? It's either utilize the opportunity to become better, or I allow it to affect me. Now I'm in prison, I'm sleeping on the floor. Do I become bad? Do I get angry? When I get angry, what can I change? Anger is good if I can convert it to the positive direction. Do you understand? Absolutely. So the fact that now, Charles was mentioning something, the student of Dream Again. The judiciary system of our nation has to play a very pivotal role in terms of decongesting the prison. It's not the function of the Nigerian prison.
Absolutely.
We have been paying fines. As a matter of fact, as I'm talking to you this week, just last week we paid the fine of 9 people in prison. Now, I worked in Benue. Our vision is for Nigerian prison. The prison I'm working with, it's the capacity, as it was built in 1922, the capacity is 118. So we have roughly 98, 87, based on when they are released. So I cannot really talk about, don't say what you have not seen. It's important.
Oh, so it's not congested like that?
It's not congested. Do you understand? This particular prison. Now there could be others that are congested. Yes. Really? So we cannot just say because we read some things on paper. Do you understand? We make the case worse. Does that mean the Nigerian prison is not working? They are also doing their part. As we go around the prisons in Nigeria, based on our vision, we'll be able to see and talk and write based on what we see.
But are they living up to the correctional mandate? Because it's supposed to be Nigerian prisons and correctional center.
It's called Nigerian prison, but the name is supposed to be correctional facility. And once
so that's what you're moving
and the name we call it is important.
Time, Bashir.
Do you understand? And like I said, everything we have done as Dream Again, we have never done it alone. We have people who have supported us.
Yes. You know, I think what we're going to do is we'll bring you back. We just need to bring you back because we didn't even scratch the surface of what can be done as a society, as a government, and where we can come in as individuals. Don't worry. I know you have a lot to say. I'm promising you we're going to bring you back in a short time, not too long, but because we're totally out of time, and I'm so sorry I'm going to cut you off like this. And we couldn't take tweets too. Sorry, Twitter fans, but sorry, we couldn't take any of your tweets. I'm so sorry. We'll do a part 2 of prison reforms. Have a great day. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Very soon.